The portfolio shows us 35% profit over the weekend. We have another rejection at 25k showing a horrendously bearish pattern. And Revolut is making Bitcoin available to all of their European customers. Let's find out more in this video. Hello, welcome to Big Energy, a 100% automated copy trading bot fully managed by the Block Party trading team. It's exclusively available on Mizar, and if you want to get access, just head on over to Mizar.ai, check out the marketplace, and we're right there. If you want a truly set and forget experience with automated trading, then this is for you. There is no monthly subscription. We only get paid if we win. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us grow and bring you more awesome content. Enough yapping, let's get into those trades. As always, guys, with everything, the analysis, the sentiment, the projections, it all starts with Bitcoin. So if we can understand what Bitcoin is doing, then we're going to have somewhat of a clearer idea on what the market is doing and also what trades to be placing. And how it is looking at the moment, well, we have seen the fourth rejection from 25k, as we can see just here. This is not particularly ideal, but not unheard of. We see this a lot of the time in those ascending triangles, and often we do see breakouts. So don't get too dismayed about this shorter term bearish pattern. But unfortunately, there are a few other factors in play that are leaning towards a shorter term bearish sentiment. We have actually just filled this weekly pivot, which is always nice to see, especially when a weekly pivot is sitting so far down from the price, because we have such a high chance of filling these weekly pivots. We have headed all the way straight down to 200 EMA. 200 EMA is always such a strong indication for support and resistance, especially on the 1 hour. So many traders have got their eyes on it. We did flip the 20 and the 50 EMA, which is not ideal, but we haven't quite made it past the 20 and 50 DEMA. Again, the daily moving averages are very good indications of support and resistance. In fact, they are lying just almost in confluence with this ascending trend line, which formulates pretty much the bottom of this big, nasty looking ascending wedge. And we really don't want to be breaking down on it, because if we do, then it can take us to really actually quite low depths. But let's have a look at what those targets are. Now, with a few pretty nasty sell orders coming in right about here, we've broken through and we're currently retesting this immediate local resistance. I do expect us to send ourselves down to around about the local support, which is sitting at 23,617. And also there's a big hope for me that we don't break through that, because I really don't want to break down on this ascending wedge. If we do, then like I said, it could spell some very bearish times, and with a midterm target of around about 22,600. And I'm going to say this now, that it is not completely out of the question that we could end up down around about this $20,000 zone. That is if things go particularly south. Now, as it stands at the moment, there isn't actually any horrendously bad macro FUD news going around at the moment, which would suggest, really tipping this over the scales. So Bitcoin is fighting back, and there is a good bit of bullish sentiment as well. Most notably, Revolut have just got the nod from the EA. Revolut has just got the nod to be able to provide Bitcoin for all of their European customers. That's 17 million users. So we could see some real good mainstream adoption from that, and Revolut is not small. But we need to see how that translates into actual price action. My general projections here, it is so hard to suggest what the price is going to do in Bitcoin, because so many macro factors at play, so many fundamental factors at play. It isn't just about the technical analysis. But if I had to throw my hat in the ring, then I would say that we are likely to visit this 23,600 region. We might get our noses just below this ascending trend line, but I don't think we're going to hold there. I do think we're going to bounce. I do think we're going to retest 25k again at some time in the near future. Now, whether we're going to break it is a completely different question. How we've seen before, we've seen so much sell pressure there. There might be bigger forces at play. But what would I suggest? Well, don't go straight in if we do break it for the first time. What we want to see is a break and a retest. We want to see some support coming in on this little point here where there is loads of volume, making sure that the sell orders are getting dramatically outweighed. If we do see that, then we can expect to see 27k and even 30k. The third scenario, which is the more consolidating scenario, is that we could end up rattling around in here for quite some time. So there's three scenarios at play, but for the most immediate part, I think we're going to go down a little bit further. And we're going to be looked to be potentially doing a long roundabout here. But again, I'm not going to be putting out any short token trades as well, because it is still a little bit knife catchy at the moment. So let's take a look at the actual portfolio. We've got a few new trades. One 13th, when everything was looking super bullish and really, really strong. I wanted to try and catch that movement, but unfortunately Bitcoin got slapped down incredibly hard. Not once, but twice since then. And we went in with Ape. Ape is again one of those pretty good assets in the same breath as like Mana, as in Sand, where we see it just climb back up. It's one of the first out the gates, pretty much always. So not too worried. But unfortunately, with a lot of these volatile assets as well, they move. So that means they move down as well. We have filled our first safety order on it, and we've brought the price down quite significantly. We're currently sat on the 50 DEMA, which is quite nice support. We've actually got a bit of a descending broadening wedge. And descending broadening wedges are just really bullish. You know, we get around about an 80% breakup on these. So providing we get back above here, we see a bit of Bitcoin strength, then we're going to be in a pretty good place. BNB down, as we know with all our down tokens, they've not been doing over so well as Bitcoin's been on the rise. However, with potentially some bearish pressure coming in from Bitcoin, we might actually see these absolutely explode upwards. And we've got BNB down, we've got Link down, and we also have, what is our third one? TRX down as well. How could I forget that? But in the same breath, I wanted to make sure that we had a hedge with BNB because CZ actually just released a tweet recently that he's pretty much holding all of Binance's assets and BNB. You know, it's pretty good. You know, when you've got the biggest exchange, one of the richest or the richest crypto billionaire going on Twitter and expressing that and that confidence in it, I know it's his own asset for sure, you would. But it does really, really put your money where its mouth is. And if he's going to do it, hey, why don't I do it as well? I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that you should invest in BNB. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, lo and behold. But a lot of people will have that mentality. So BNB, yes, I have a down. Yes, I have a long. I have down, sorry. I have a bear. BNB, yes, I have a short. And yes, I have a long. That's the whole point of hedging. And it's something that you can do so well with DCA. BTC, we had a look at the full analysis here. We do expect it to go down a little bit more. We were so close to closing out this 5% deal when we got slapped down from that 25,249. I think there's going to be a lot of liquidations around this point, a lot of long liquidations that we're going to see come in tomorrow because that's quite a push through 25k and it's a very, very horrendous rejection, especially how far it went. So, you know, I'm sorry to all the people who went long when they broke out on the 25k, but that's the nature of the game. Wait for the retest, wait for the confirmation. However, it's BTC, you know, we're always going to go long on BTC, right? EGLD, I kind of wanted, again, this is all the trades that went out on the 13th. Everything was looking so bullish and looking really, really good. We put out a trade and we unfortunately got slapped down by BTC, but we're still within the first safety order. So again, not too worried. So EOS, they actually had some good news come out, which was the yield and TVL rewards beginning. And anything like that is always pretty bullish, but unfortunately EOS, like a lot of these larger cap assets, get really, really affected by Bitcoin when it dumps. And that went down pretty hard, but we're still within the first safety order. So no worries just there. Phil, again, this was mentioned as one of those assets within that Real Vision bot that Raoul Pal swears by, the macroeconomist. And, you know, for that reason, I wanted to get inside that. If a lot of these larger, more institutional investors are looking at these kind of assets, then that's where we want to be, and especially with the DCA nature. We have currently filled an SO1 and we have our SO2 set very, very low. I'm pretty confident this is going to go straight back up pretty quickly when BTC shows some strength. Next up, we got JST, and a bit heartbreaking because we just missed taking profit just there. Although a very, very bullish setup, we had our breakout of local resistance. We had a great big amount of volume come in there. And unfortunately, like I said, it just got slapped down by BTC, like a lot of these assets. KDA, unfortunately, that has been hit very, very hard with BTC. We have filled one safety order. We've got our second safety order set nice and low, which it might get filled, but we are currently at the 20 and 50 DEMA support. And they've crossed, so things are looking relatively bullish from an actual trend perspective. But short-term price, not so great. Clay was well on the way to profits, and again, with everything, BTC took the price down pretty hard. We're seeing a lot of bullish contrarian signals come through here. We're currently on the 50 DEMA, with the 20 DMA coming up close behind. We filled the weekly pivot, so again, with a little bit of bullish pressure from BTC, we can see that climb pretty quickly. LDO, there seems to be a lot of talk around LDO at the moment, which is one of the reasons why I got in on the trade. Yeah, we filled up one safety order and also the weekly pivot as it looks down there. And it bounces really, really hard and really nice. I think this is one of those assets where we'll see a lot of people waiting to pick up those dips. And like I said, there is a lot of eyes on LDO at the moment. So that should be a relatively quick closer. Again, with all of these assets, we just need a little bit of bullish pressure coming in from BTC and we're going to be gold. There we have our FOMO trade LPT. From Friday, you'll know that I jumped in on this one because I thought it was actually going to continue up, and I got smitten with the FOMO. We do have a couple of pretty good things though. We're actually still within this ascending triangle, and also look at this, we've got a nice unfilled weekly pivot above us. These are great. Weekly pivots are amazing. This is probably one of the only bullish weekly pivots that we're actually looking at. So that's great. So if we do hold this little area here, that'd be nice, and then we can wrestle around in the ascending wedge, ascending triangle, and we can smash up to take profit. Literally no worries at all. I've got a nice deep SO3 just below this wedge, so we can pick that up. And then after that, we are probably going to be in a pretty bearish formation from probably BTC, and there won't be too much we can do about it other than just let it see where it lands, and then we can start to average down. Mana up there again with Ape and Sand Deals. These things come back incredibly quickly. We've got a very nasty double top there, but we do have an ABCD harmonic pattern, which is quite nice, and also the 20 and 50 DEMA below us, as well as a very nice local support. So with this one, a little bit of bullish pressure from BTC, and I think we're going to look pretty good. Mina, we've got loads of news that was dropping about this, and it just basically caused the price to drop, which is a bit sad to see. So we are going to keep an eye on this one and see how it actually goes, because we have broken down, or broken out, should I say, on this ascending. And, you know, it's not looking particularly great on this actual setup, as we've broken down here, which is, you know, a pretty decent support. I'm going down again, and we're breaking through the 20 DMA and onto the 50 DMA. So our next key support is around here, around about 0.821, and we're going to see how that plays out. I'm not going for the second buy just yet. Put it a little bit lower, because I am going to see if we do start to rattle around here, then I might put in the safety order, but it's a little bit close to the SO1, so I don't really feel like I need to. I mean, at the end of the day, we are, whilst the setup's not great, we are only 7% down with one safety order filled. So not worried, just don't like the setup too much there. Sand, almost identical to Mana in my opinion. That's the exact same reason I'm in it with Metaverse, and we do have a bit of a double top here if we're to take out this entire wick. And it's got rejected hard from this 1.349, which is our target. And also our break-even price. You know, a lot of these trades I'm tempted to close out as we get to break-even, just to reduce exposure down to about 50% for longs. When we've got this much uncertainty with BTC, we don't want to be overexposed too much. By no means are we bullish, so that's kind of where I'm going with this. And looking at assets like Sol, Mana, Sand, BNB is really where you want to be right now, where it's kind of the more longer-term confirmed assets. So even if we do have to DCA, then we're going to be in really good assets. We're just basically going to get amazing positions. And then long term, we'll end up selling them at huge profit if everything was to go south. And that's kind of the whole point of DCA, is you chip away and make tons of profit as it's very bullish, as it's going up quite aggressively. And when it's going down, you're basically just getting yourself into amazing positions. Simple, and that's how you get around never losing a trade effectively, unless, you know, Luna. But next up we have Sol, SRM, good asset, but it got hit so hard with that most recent BTC dump. I mean, look at that, 7%, about 7% in one candle when it was all looking really good, and a break even. Completely legit setup, just broken out of this local resistance. It was coming back down to retest, which was really nice, and it was holding really, really well. Then we got hit with the first dump and then the second dump, and we're back to down here at square one. But we do have quite a lot of decent bullish sentiment in that. There is a nice local support just there. We have the 20 and the 50 DMA in lieu, which is good. We filled the weekly pivot again, which is where we want to be. We don't have a huge amount, you know, when we look at the actual RSI down here. We're not in dire straits at all. We're not seeing any significant divergences. In fact, it's actually quite a nice bullish divergence, but I think that's played out already. Well, it has played out already, as we can see. So we are at the mercy right now of BTC. Oh, one thing that I'm doing like the look of, TRX is starting to crash a little bit, which means our trade here, our down, is actually starting to look a little bit tasty. So we have, simple maths here, we've got to climb 6%, or TRX has got to crash a further 6%, and we are back in break even, and we can start looking at taking profit. So if nothing else with this bearish movement at the moment, at least we can start to get out of our down tokens, which is excellent news. XMR, they have just made their coin more private, which is great. It was a very successful launch. What I am super enthusiastic to see is that the whole sell the news, you know, buy the rumors, sell the news, hasn't completely crushed it, which is excellent. So I do actually think, you know, that's a really, really nice, really kind of useful fundamental as an asset. We could actually see this go pretty big. So I might actually increase the TP on this one quite considerably and see where it goes. Lastly, we have XRP that has just been holding like a boss. It really has not been moving much outside of this range of about 8.5% since the 3rd of August. To me, that says serious consolidation in a pretty bullish formation, if I'm being honest. So we could see this absolutely explode. So, in fact, personal note, I think XMR and XRP, I'm actually going to increase the targets on that and see where they land. All in all, pretty positive. Our maximum open deals are 22. Our safety orders are extremely conservative at the moment. We have 5 safety orders at safety order 1. We have 1 at safety order 2, and then 3 at safety order 3. So we are barely scratching the surface at the moment, and that's exactly where we want to be. Well, thank you very much, and that is the Block Party Trading portfolio. You can follow all of this exactly as it's working in real time on Mizar, completely exclusive to Mizar. Check out the description for an affiliate link and for some discount off your volume fees. Of course, please give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps us move forward and keep producing this awesome content. So take it easy.